Well, welcome everybody into Klein Scott Field. My name is Adrian Holguin, and I apologize. We were dealing with some technical difficulties over the last 25 minutes. Forced us off the air twice, but we are now finally back just in time for the opening picks, and we sent in by number 18, Tate Lewis. The Rebels trying to, of course, grow their win total here late in the season in this matchup against the Wichita Dirtbags here in Klein Scott Field. Number 4, Craig, going to be up first to bat for the Dirtbags, who got the better of the Rebels just 24 hours ago. First pitch comes in, a strike right down the middle. Going to be an 0-1 count to start us off. Once again, I apologize for the late start this evening. Technical difficulties, they stop all of us at times. What are you going to do? Ball to the outside. 1-1 is the count. Tate Lewis, number 18, right-handed pitcher, the starter once again tonight out of Southwestern College in Dewey, Oklahoma, where he resides from full-time. Third pitch comes in a little bit up top. Could be the first walk of the day. Just 2 more balls are needed, or 2 strikes. Could be the first strikeout. And Lewis sends in the next one. Give me a foul to the left side now. Craig going to want that one back. Once again, number 4, the starter tonight at the top of the batting rotation for the Dirtbags. Ryan Ruggiero skipping the start behind home plate at the catching spot. Was in with a shoulder injury a few weeks ago, but he's kind of came back strong here over the latter portion of this 2024 regular season for the Newton Rebels. 2-2 is the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and the next one going to be a foul ball. Going to stay 2-2. 1 more strike needed for Tate Lewis to pick up his first strikeout of the evening. Already 5 pitches in. Wouldn't be a bad start to him. We've seen him have a bit of an up and down season, but one of the more consistent pitchers, if I do say so myself, for the 2024 Newton Rebels. We'll see what he can do right here. 2-2 pitch comes in, and it will be a fly ball. Looks like it's going to stay into play and go into left field, or no, it's just going to be fouled off, it looks like. Therefore, Craig going to have to make his way back to the box after making his way all the way over to first before the ball barely bounces outside and into foul territory towards the left side. Tate Lewis now 6 pitches in. Pitch number 7 going to be coming up. Everybody kind of resetting a little bit after that long fly ball came down outside of play. Honestly, surprised that the Rebels couldn't bring that one down now that I think about it. We've got 3 players over there, but this sun is going to be a bit of maybe a hindrance for both of these defensive units tonight. 110 degrees roughly outside here in Newton, Kansas. Chris Clark once again in center field, and that one flown out and almost to the same spot outside of the field of play. Keep the count 2-2 here early on in Klein Scott Field, July 15th, 2024. Now 7:10 p.m. Once again here in Centennial Park, Newton, Kansas. Still top of the first, no outs. 2-2 is the count. Tate Lewis fires in the 2-2 pitch. Will be a ball to the inside, or no, the umpire going to call it a strike. To me, it looked like it was a little bit too far inside, but Tate Lewis definitely not going to be complaining after picking up his first strikeout of the evening. 1 batter goes out. Another one comes back in for the Dirtbags here tonight. So what Isaiah Cones can do here. Ball number 1 comes inside on this sequence. Going to make the count 1-0. Once again, 1 out already, top of the first. 10 pitches in already for Tate Lewis. Don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, get too many pitches under your belt in this first inning. Don't want to make it a long one. 1-1 is the count. 1 ball, 1 strike now. That one a big swing and a big miss. 1-2 is now the count. 2 strikes now in this sequence. 1 more strike to be the second strikeout of this top of the first. Will be a huge start for Tate Lewis once again out of Oklahoma. And that one contact made. Jordy Lopez can't quite keep it out of center field. Will be a base hit for Cohen, who makes his way over to first. Now Dacario Delancey going to be next up to bat for the Wichita Dirtbags, who come in to this season after having a bit of a hot season, if I do say so myself, or at least a successful regular season, do have quite a bit of loss on the resume, though. 16 in total. One win, though, did come just 24 hours ago against the Newton Rebels. They got the better of the Rebels by a score of 12-2 when the Rebels faced them on the road. That pitch went a little bit down low. Ryan Ruggiero had to kind of catch himself to keep that one out of harm's way. Keep it from going behind his back. He was successful avoiding the stolen base opportunity for Cohen. Could have went from first to second, but not going to see that this time. 1-0 is the current count. Make it 1-1. Once again, Cohen, the runner on first. 1 ball, 1 strike now in the sequence. 1-1 is the count. 1 out. Already being put up here on the top of the first by the Rebel defense. 2-1. Now the count after the 16th total pitch for starting pitcher Tate Lewis. Ruggiero makes the next call. Lewis fires it in, and a ball far to the outside. Now a 3-1 count. One more ball would put runners on first and second. Rebel defense have to avoid a hot start from the Dirtbag offense. Don't want to take their second consecutive loss to this team over the course of 48 hours. 3-1 pitch in and down low. It's going to be a walk over to first for Delaney. And now runners on first and second for the Dirtbags here early on in Klein Scott Field. One, of course, in scoring position as a new batter makes his way up now for the Dirtbags and into the batter's box here early on will be Jason McCarty. Left-handed batter for the Dirtbags. 2024 Dirtbags. First pitch into the sequence. Going to be called a strike just within the bottom side of the strike zone. 0-1 now the count. Still only 1 out. Runners on first and second. Lewis looks back over at second base. Jerry Lopez covering. Not going to test the runner out there. Instead, throws in the pitch. And Ruggiero, once again, has the fight to keep it out of harm's way. Maybe some early miscommunication between Ruggiero and Tate Lewis. Of course, the pitcher and catcher combination to start things off here in Klein Scott Field. 1-1, the count. The 1-1 pitch comes in and contact made, but foul ball off to the right side. Make it a 1-2 count. One more strike away from Tate Lewis, putting up the second out of this very half inning here in Klein Scott Field. The Rebels trying to pick up their 5th win of the 2024 regular season. One of their first, of course, here in Klein Scott Field, if they can get it done here tonight against the Wichita Dirtbags. Lewis once again looks over his shoulder, fires in the pitch, and a foul ball once again. Lewis looks back over at second and then fires it in, and a swing and a miss forces indeed the second strikeout of this half inning and the second total out. One more out now needed for the Rebels to get out of the top of the first unscathed without giving up a single run. But one batter once again leaves, and another batter comes up. Martinez next up to bat for the Wichita Dirtbags. Martinez a 1.30 batting average on the season. Tate Lewis fires in the first one. And a foul ball to the left side. Martinez just barely got a piece of it. Barely swung his bat, but was enough to make contact. 0-1, now the count. Runners still on first and second for the Dirtbags. One of which in scoring position. A double or even maybe even a single hit from Martinez would bring one runner home. Will be a fly ball instead, remaining in the infield and brought down by the Rebels just barely. Tremendous play on that one to bring it down. It was Bryson Knitter playing first base tonight. Maybe got a bit too much sun in his eyes on that one, but nevertheless a big-time play, bringing it down and getting the third out of that half inning and getting the Rebels out of the first half inning of play unscathed. No runs given up. And now bottom of the first. Coming up here, got a little messed up there. What are we doing here in Clarence Scott Field? Stay with us. Welcome back to Clarence Scott Field. Bottom of the first. Coming up here, Judy Lopez is going to start off in the batter's box tonight for the Newton Rebels. That's become commonplace over the course of this regular season. Judy Lopez, on the other hand, has dealt with some foot issues over the course of the 2024 regular season. Rebels going to have the hope that the injury does not rear its ugly head here tonight. Pitch number 1 in will be a strike just to the right side of the strike zone from my perspective. 0-1 now the count. 1 pitch and once again called strike to the outside of Lopez. Could have gone either way if I do see so myself, but 0-2 count here early on in this half inning. Now the next 0-2 pitch comes in. Lopez makes contact and will get called out at first. Couldn't quite beat the throw. Now Ryan Ruggiero, the starting catcher tonight for the Newton Rebels out of Newton, Kansas. Number 7, and himself dealing with an injury himself, maybe a lingering injury, a shoulder injury, but back in the lineup after he had a bit of an absence a few weeks ago, was out of the lineup for an extended period. Allowed Shenyan Zhang to get a lot of time from behind home plate, allowing him to become a JAC Collegiate League All-Star here in 2024. Strike 1 out. We guess on Lopez get beat over to first. Make it strike 2 after that foul ball to the left side for Ruggiero. Game tied up. Between the Dirtbags and Rebels, 0 runs given up quite yet. And Ruggiero fly ball to right field. And it will be an outfield error. Ruggiero rounds first base and heads over to second. And he will be called safe. Unforced error in the right field for the Dirtbags. Aiden Robles now going to step up. Another kind of utility guy a little bit for the Newton Rebels. Got some time also himself behind home plate at the catching spot throughout periods in this 2024 season. Also an infielder at a Pratt Community College, number 10 on the Dirtbag defense. Going to take their time. Kind of reassess themselves after that outfield error. Justin Hinesley talking something over with the umpire. Not sure what they're discussing. Exactly along that left foul line. You can see him. And will get actually called out. Ruggiero apparently did not get his foot down over at first base. Interesting call to start us off. Will be the second out of the bottom of the first. Coach Hinesley can't be too happy. After that, really, we saw him once again have some words with the umpire. Aiden Robles still up to bat with 2 outs put up already in the bottom of the first. 0-1 count, no balls, 1 strike. And now the 0-1 pitch comes in. Pitch comes in a little bit low. Make it 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs. Once again up in the bottom of the first. And the next one comes in up top. Was an out of control pitch. If Rogero was still at second, he would have just advanced to third, but coulda, woulda, shoulda, I believe is what the saying is. 2 balls, 1 strike. 2-1 pitch to the outside. Make it 3-1. Robles have a chance now to get walked over to first, but we'll see if the Dirtbag defensive unit has anything to say about it. Robles fly ball out into the outfield and will bounce off the far wall. Robles rounds first and will be stopped at second. Jack Garner going to be next up to bat, back in his number 4 uniform for the Newton Rebels. Had a lot of success so far this season. A beautiful hit by Aiden Robles puts him in scoring position over at second base. Jack Garner once again up to bat now for the Newton Rebels. He's had a lot of success from the batter's box this season. Has outfielder Jack Garner. First pitch in the Garner, ball up top. Make it a 1-0 count. Next pitch comes in, ball number 2, make it a 2-0 count. In this sequence, already 2 outs put up in this half inning. 1 more out would, of course, lead us into the top of the second. The Rebels trying to avenge their loss just 24 hours ago. Jack Garner fly ball now out to the outfield, and it will be out of Klein Scott Field. A quick home run put up by number 4, Jack Gardner, first baseman / outfielder for the Newton Rebels. And the home Newton Rebels take the early 2-0 lead here in Klein Scott Field. A big-time response after the error by Ryan Rogero. He did not quite get his foot down once again at first base, apparently, from what we heard. Once again, give the Rebels the early 2-0 advantage here in the first inning. 2 hits now put up by the home team and only 1 put up by the visiting Wichita Dirtbags, who beat the Rebels 24 hours ago, 12-2. Pitch in, call it a ball. No signal made by the umpire. New batter, of course, up for the New Rebels, Bryce Nittler, who we saw make a big-time play at first to bring that fly ball up to end at the top of the first inning. Had to fly back a little bit on his reception, I'll call it. 2 balls, no strikes. Now the 2-0 pitch comes in down low. Going to be called a strike. The first strike of this sequence, 2-1. Now the 2-1 pitch comes in, making a 3-1 count now here in the bottom of the first. We just saw, once again, Jack Garner hammer the contact he made back farther than the far wall and put the Rebels up by a score of 2 runs to none here in the bottom of the first inning. Giving the Rebels the early lead, but full count now being faced by Bryce Nittler. We'll see what happens, and will be a ball called to the outside and a walk over to first. And number 3, Justice Hinesley coming in here. Also had a bit of a nagging injury I heard early on in the season. Getting back in the lineup here late in the 2024 season. See what he can do here. Justice Hinesley, a utility guy out of Southwest Baptist, Springfield, Missouri. We've seen him play all around Klein Scott Field over the course of the 2024 season. Now he's going to try and round the bases himself and make it all the way to home. 1 ball, no strikes. Nittler once again got walked over to first. Runner on base for the Rebels right now. No swing from Hinesley, leads to the 2-0 count. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 balls away from the walk that would put runners on first and second tonight for the Newton Rebels. 2 outs already in this half inning. Nittler gets tested over at first to no avail. He's going to stay out there. Not really showing, still not too far off of first base. No swing from Hinesley, and pitch goes straight down the middle. 2-1 count. 2 balls, 1 strike. Once again, a toasty one out there. Here in Centennial Park, over 100 degrees Fahrenheit is the temperature. Foul ball straight to the back side of Hinesley. Make the count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 strike away from the end of the bottom of the first potentially. Hinesley, no swing. Going to fill up the count now. 161 batting average on the season for Justice Hinesley. Deciding pitch about to be delivered by the defense of the Dirtbags. Here comes Scott Field, and Hinesley makes contact out to left field, and it looks like it might be the second home run of this first inning. Holy smokes, Hinesley hammers it behind the far wall. Give the Rebels the early 4-0 lead here in Clyde Scott Field. Justice Hinesley hammers it behind the far wall again, giving himself and Bryce Nittler runs themselves. Just like that here early on in the bottom of the first, the Rebels leading 4-0 with 2 outs being put up already by the defense of the Dirtbags. Now Connor Chaso up to bat, second baseman for the hometown squad. Pitch number 1 comes in, strike 1. 0-1 now the count in this high-scoring half inning for the Rebels, and Chaso gets that one out to first base, and he's going to try and beat the throw over to first, and will be just called out. Connor Chaso was just not quite fast enough in his pursuit, and both teams will head back to the bench, but not, of course, before the Rebels took the early 4-0 lead here in Clyde Scott Field for a pair of home runs, one of which put up by Jack Gardner, and the second of which put up by Justice Hinesley, putting the Rebels up 4-0 here in the first inning. We'll be back for more action coming up from Clyde Scott Field with the Dirtbags. Look to respond. We shall see. Welcome back to Clyde Scott Field. The Rebels an early 4-0 lead after a pair of home runs were put up in the bottom of the first, one of which by number 4 Jack Gardner, and the second of which put up by Justice Hinesley. Tate Lewis remains on the mound for the defense of the Newton Rebels. Ryan Ruggiero behind home plate. Make the count 0-1 here early on in this half inning. The top of the second to be exact between these two squads. 24 hours ago, the Dirtbags got the better of the Newton Rebels. Took them down by a score of 12 runs to 2. And the Rebels already putting the pressure on them, though. In return, make the count 1-1. As so once again, they put up those 4 runs in the last half of inning, and an error occurring in the infield now will allow the Dirtbags to get 1 runner on first base to start off this half inning, top of the second.
Number 0, Braden Rhodes.
Braden Rhodes, number 0, going to step up to the plate now. Braden Rose at us. He's the 7th player up in the batting lineup for the Dirtbags. Top of the second, still no outs. Tate Lewis on the mound for the Rebels. Getting the start tonight. Jordy Lopez, one of the players back behind him. Out of control pitch. Rogero didn't have his hand placed in the right position, his mitt in the right position to keep that one out of harm's way. Runner advances from first to second. Make the count 1-0, 1 ball, no strikes, no outs. Lewis looks back at second. And to Rose now on the pitch. And to the dirt, 2-0. 2 balls, no strikes. And you can't be too happy with that out of control pitch allowed by Ryan Rogero. A lot of times still to respond. 2-0 pitch in and down the middle. Good for strike number 1 of the sequence. 2-1 with Rose still in the batter's box. Here in the top of the second with no outs. Center field at second base right now in scoring position for the Dirtbags. Foul ball to the left side. Making the count 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 1 strike away from a strikeout. Will be the first out of this half inning for Tate Lewis out of Dewey, Oklahoma. It's back at Connor Chaso at second base. And fires in the pitch. Will be a fly ball out to center field. And Chris Clark brings it down for the first out of this half inning.
Next is at number 17, Daniel Williams.
Daniel Williams going to be next up to bat as the Dirtbags try to retake the lead. Or not retake the lead, but take the lead. Never once held it thus far tonight in Centennial Park as the Rebels put up 2 home runs in the bottom of the first. We saw roughly 5, maybe 10 minutes ago. Time flies here in Centennial Park. What can I say? 7:34 p.m. Pitch in and quick out, or close to an out, put up off of the grab of Ethan McCauley over at third. He dropped the ball that went right towards him, but he did respond in the big way, getting out to Bryce Nidler regardless, and picking up the second out. That was a rocket set from Ethan McCauley, who once again is playing third base tonight. 2 outs, top of the second, 1 runner still on second base. For the Dirtbag offensive, Tate Lewis looks back over at second. Could try to test him. No, he's going to send in the pitch. Center field, the runner over at second base. Jordy Lopez covering him from behind. 1 ball, no strike. 2 outs here in the top of the second. We just saw Ethan McCauley make a big-time throw over to first to pick up the second out. Rogero keeps that one out of harm's way. The pitch, I should say, 2 balls, no strikes now. Tate Lewis faced the 2-0 count a lot from the mound so far tonight. Kind of his comfort zone a little bit, maybe feeling out the batter. Now the 2-0 pitch comes in. Will be a 3-0 count now. 1 more ball. We'll put runners on first and second for the visiting Dirtbags. Hartman in the batter's box, the bottom of which, after him, we're going to reset the lineup. And that one called a ball still to the outside and down low. We'll put runners on first and second now, officially for the Dirtbags. 2 outs in the top of the second. The Rebels once again put up a pair of home runs in the bottom of the first inning to put themselves up by 4 total runs. Right now makes his way into the box, top of the batting rotation tonight for the visiting Dirtbags in Centennial Park. And Cret makes contact over the head that time of McCauley and out to left field. Runners rounding the bases, one of which comes home. And another one advances over to second. And now Jordy Lopez going to get Cret potentially out at first. No, it's going to be a test of Wells, and Connor Chaso eventually advances. A bit of a boneheaded play right there from Cret. I shouldn't say boneheaded actually, but a bit of a lapse of judgment. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. 4-1 lead for the hometown Newton Rebels. And Cret gets called out at second after he didn't realize that the other runner that was Staying at second, well, didn't advance to third. An infield error on the offensive for the Dirtbags leads to the third out, and the Rebels still holding a 4-1 lead as we get into the bottom of the second. We're just coming up against a matter of minutes here in Klein Scott Field. Stay with us. Ethan McCauley receives the opening pitch of the bottom of the second. Going to be a 1-ball, no-strike situation now for McCauley, the third baseman for the Newton Rebels tonight, who hold the 4-0 lead. Head again to the bottom of the second. They put up 2 home runs in the bottom of the first here in Klein Scott Field. Don't see that every day, but the Rebels going to try to keep that momentum going. McCauley foul ball to the left side. Going to fall down and out of harm's way. Make the count 2-1, 2 balls, 1 strike. Two balls, 1 strike here in the bottom of the second. Ethan McCauley. Up to bat, Chris Clark, currently on deck here in Klein Scott Field, and McCauley going to get called out at first after making contact straight over between the third baseman and the second baseman. Indeed, Chris Clark steps up to the plate now in the bottom of the second inning here in Klein Scott Field. 1 out. McCauley couldn't quite put the throw over to first base. Chris Clark starting center fielder tonight for the Newton Rebels, big number 12. Clark on the season, .261 batting average, receives the first pitch. And a hitter out to center field, and another outfield error taking place in the outfield, and Chris Clark safe at second.
Now batting number 30, Lopez.
Judy Lopez going to be next up. To bat as we return to the top of the lineup for the Newton Rebels here tonight. A handful of miscalculations, I should say, and unforced errors, putting the Dirtbags in a hole here early on, down 3 runs for 2-1 more specifically. Here in the bottom of the second, Chris Clark showed steal potentially on that one, but instead returns to second base. Judy Lopez now facing a 1-0 count early on in this half inning. Big swing on a foul ball. Heads over to the left side. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out. Put up in this half inning by the defense of the Dirtbags. Chris Clark, 8 runs on the season on 12 total hits. Going to try and grow those totals